The golden age of Hollywood was a period of glory, but also full of dark secrets and shocking stories. Behind the spotlight, black stars not only fought for the limelight, but also had to face harsh social prejudices and scandals that had never been told. From controversial love affairs to courageous decisions that broke all norms, these stories will make you reflect. Today, we will explore the jaw-dropping truths of prominent stars like Lena Horne, Josephine Baker, and Fredi Washington, individuals who not only faced brilliant careers but also had to bear scandals that continue to stir public attention to this day. The first black actress nominated for an Oscar, a hellish marriage and scandalous love affairs. During Hollywood's golden age, Dorothy Dandridge was a dazzling star, the first black woman nominated for an Oscar for her leading role in Carmen Jones, 1954. She was not only a symbol of beauty and talent, but also a source of pride for the black community, at a time when the film industry was largely reserved for white actors. However, like a brilliant star in the sky, Dandridge's life descended into darkness due to her scandalous love affairs. At the peak of her career, Dandridge found herself entangled in a turbulent personal life. Her relationships, especially her marriage to Harry K. Dandridge, dragged her into a dark world few could have imagined. Not only was he a cruel husband, but he also became a never-ending nightmare in her life. Behind closed doors, she endured brutal beatings, verbal abuse, and a life filled with fear. Once, after a major argument, Harry attacked her in a drunken rage, leaving her hospitalized with severe injuries. On another occasion, she had to hide in the bathroom, trying to keep her wounds from being seen, fearing questions from those around her. Moreover, Harry K. Dandridge forced her to confront shocking love scandals. She discovered that he was not only cheating on her, but also having secret relationships with powerful men in society. She could not believe her eyes when she found photographs of her husband meeting in secret, holding hands with well-known figures in politics and business. These relationships not only humiliated her, but also subjected her to cruel public criticism, as people questioned her honesty and viewed her as a wife who could not maintain her husband's respect. These affairs made her feel like a puppet in the hands of powerful men, with her dignity and honor being stripped away each day. Despite her constant efforts to maintain her image and career, the deep wounds in her soul increasingly weakened her. She could not stop the inner turmoil, the sleepless nights, as memories of violence and betrayal haunted her. These pains not only robbed her of her self-confidence, but also led to her gradual isolation. Although surrounded by stage lights and fake smiles, she felt lonelier than ever. Every attempt to maintain her image was merely a facade to hide the unhealable wounds, and eventually, she lost everything: love, career, and her belief in herself. Dandridge's story is a tragic tale of regret. She deserved to be remembered as an icon of resilience and talent, but instead of being celebrated, her painful private life and love scandals overshadowed it all. A Hollywood goddess abandoned by love she could not overcome. Eartha Kitt, from beauty icon to traitor in the eyes of the public. Eartha Kitt, the seductive queen and multi-talented artist, captivated the world with her mesmerizing voice and acting skills. She became famous for hit songs like Santa Baby and memorable roles on screen, ultimately becoming a cultural icon of the 1950s. She was the first black woman to freely express her unique and powerful personality, breaking the boundaries Hollywood had set. However, Kitt's brilliant career was never without its challenges, as her love affairs sparked public scandal and criticism. At the height of her career, Eartha Kitt became involved in complex love relationships, including high-profile affairs that constantly fueled public gossip. The most shocking event in her life, however, was not the scars of violence or love scandals, but a moment when she dared to stand up and speak out against societal injustices. In 1968, during a public meeting, Kitt stunned America by openly criticizing the U.S. government over the Vietnam War. Her words were direct, condemning the brutality and senselessness of the war. She called it an unnecessary invasion that not only destroyed the lives of American soldiers, but also caused immeasurable pain for innocent people in Vietnam. She also emphasized that the U.S. government was pouring millions of dollars into a pointless war while its citizens were suffering from poverty and racial discrimination. These criticisms immediately made her the target of a fierce backlash from the public. No one expected a star like Kit, who was beloved for her beauty and talent, to speak out so vehemently. She was labeled a traitor and a threat to patriotism by the country. Protests against her took place everywhere, from patriotic groups to political organizations. She was even called the rebellious woman with ideas that went against the core values of America. In the eyes of many, she not only betrayed her country but also destroyed her public image. Hollywood boycott of her came quickly and decisively. Producers and directors refused to work with her, and the films she had been involved in were removed from theaters. Acting contracts she had signed were quietly canceled, and no one wanted to work with someone deemed to have political issues like her. Not only was her film career affected, but her music career also took a massive hit. Concerts were canceled, and television stations cut broadcasts of the shows she participated in. Kit became an outcast in both industries where she had once achieved success. Despite this, Kit had no regrets about what she had said. She acknowledged that her statements might have cost her dearly, but she could not stay silent when she saw injustice and suffering around her. What was even more painful was that, despite her continued accomplishments in music and acting, she faced years of loneliness. She not only lost her career and fame, but also had to endure criticism and isolation from the artistic community and the public. Those years were far from easy, as she lived in silence and lacked the recognition she deserved. But deep in her heart, she remained proud of what she had done, believing that truth and conscience are always the most important things in life. Eartha Kitt may have been one of Hollywood's greatest icons, but her career and personal life paid a high price for her relationships and actions that went against social norms. Despite being condemned, she remained resilient and continued to assert herself. Eartha Kitt deserves to be remembered not only for her allure, but also for her courage to live authentically, despite all the criticism she had to endure. Lena Horne, the seductive queen who lost everything due to affairs and painful criticism. Lena Horne, one of Hollywood's brightest stars during its golden age, was not only a talented singer and actress, but also a courageous woman who fought for civil rights for Black people. She captivated audiences with her enchanting voice and memorable roles, particularly in films like Stormy Weather, 1943. Lena Horne was not only a symbol of beauty but also a source of pride for the Black community, overcoming countless barriers to establish her place in a Hollywood rife with racism. However, behind that success lay a personal life that was often controversial. Her relationship with a powerful man began while she was at the peak of her career, and it immediately caused a stir among Hollywood's elite. They appeared together at lavish parties, traveled the world, and were often seen kissing at public events. The combination of Horne's seductive beauty and the power this man held made them a perfect couple in the eyes of the public, but the reality behind these glamorous images was filled with turmoil. The press incessantly dug into sensitive details about their relationship. Rumors constantly surfaced, particularly when there were whispers about the man's affairs with several women in the industry. Stories about heated arguments and dramatic breakups between the two sparked a wave of judgment. One of the most shocking moments came when Horne unexpectedly appeared alone at a major event after it was rumored that the man had been secretly involved with a young actress. At the party, Horne struggled to maintain her composure as reporters pounced, asking about her relationship with the powerful man, causing her to become enraged and leave the event amid public criticism. Not long after, rumors of a tragic breakup emerged. Some claimed that Horne had been abandoned because of this man's affairs, while others speculated that she couldn't tolerate his controlling nature and patriarchal personality. Although Horne always tried to remain silent amid the surrounding noise, the breakup led her into a deep crisis. For a long time afterward, Horne faced isolation and judgment as the public continued to gossip about her love life. Despite Lena Horne's efforts to maintain the image of a seductive, intelligent, and independent woman, her romantic life was never at peace. Scandals surrounding her relationships somewhat overshadowed the great accomplishments she achieved in her career. Nevertheless, it is undeniable that Lena Horne remained a resilient woman who lived with self-respect and fought for justice, an icon who could not be overshadowed by rumors or scandalous headlines. Josephine Baker, a symbol of freedom and feminism, yet the target of derogatory rumors. Josephine Baker was not only a legendary music and dance icon, but also a remarkable woman in history who made a significant impact both in France and America. With her bold performance style and unparalleled charm, Baker became the star of artistic dance performances in Paris, especially in La Revue Niger in 1925. She was one of the first black artists to be loved and celebrated in Europe, breaking racial barriers and becoming an international star. However, behind the glamour, Josephine Baker's romantic life was turbulent and caused a stir. Baker married multiple times, with each marriage being a tumultuous story of its own, but none of them lasted long. One of the most controversial marriages was to Jean Lion, a French film producer, whom she married briefly before divorcing. However, this marriage wasn't the only shocking event in her life. She later became involved in relationships with powerful men, from wealthy businessmen to famous stars, which kept the public talking and gossiping about her ever-changing love life. These affairs sometimes lasted only a few months, but they made headlines and led to her being seen as a loose woman who didn't adhere to society's norms about love and marriage. One of the biggest scandals in her life was her rapid changes in partners, which led the public and the press to question the stability of her personal life. Each time one relationship ended, a new man appeared, and no one could be sure whether this was another long-term relationship or just another short affair. At times, Baker was spotted dating men who weren't famous but held power in politics or finance. This made her the target of incessant rumors, with people speculating about the purpose and motives behind each of her relationships. Baker's short-lived affairs, changing partners, and romantic entanglements were not just shocking topics, but also the cause of harsh criticism. Society at the time did not accept a woman who could live freely and control her emotions in this way. The press often called her the woman who can't keep a man or the woman who is too bold, attaching labels to her that society would never accept. The feeling of being condemned and viewed as a rebel in a world of societal norms caused Baker to struggle with indescribable pain. Despite this, no one could deny Josephine Baker's contributions to the arts and society. She was not only a symbol of freedom but also a fierce advocate for the rights of black people and women. Her tumultuous romantic relationships could not overshadow the brilliance and career she built. Baker remains an enduring icon, not only because of her talent, but also because of her courage, freedom, and resilience in overcoming all criticism. Sidney Poitier: The shocking marriage between a black man and a white woman breaking social boundaries. Sidney Poitier, the first black man to win an Oscar for Best Actor in Lilies of the Field 1963, marked a major turning point in Hollywood history. With his talent and impressive career, Poitier became a symbol of success and breakthrough in an industry once filled with racial discrimination. He was not only a skilled artist but also a pioneer in expanding opportunities for black actors in Hollywood. Poitier was celebrated for his socially significant roles, addressing important issues of the time. However, although he wasn't at the center of romantic scandals like many other stars, Poitier was not immune to controversial events in his personal life, especially concerning his relationships and the significant influence he had in society. His marriage to Joanna Shimkus, a Canadian actress, was one of the most shocking events. They married in 1976, but what made the public endlessly talk wasn't just a relationship between a famous movie star and a beautiful actress. It was the combination of two entirely different cultures: Poitier, a black man, and Shimkus, a white woman from Canada. In the context of a racially segregated and prejudiced American society, this event caused a great deal of criticism and opposition from various sides. At that time, an interracial marriage was still an extremely sensitive topic. Public opinion relentlessly criticized their relationship, making harsh remarks about Poitier and Shimkus. They were seen as a symbol of betrayal, sparking debates on racial integration. Many could not accept that a black man could marry a white woman, as it went against the deeply ingrained societal prejudices about race in America. Their relationship was viewed as a challenge to traditional values, and Poitier was criticized for daring to cross the boundaries set by society. Poitier did not need scandals or controversies to affirm his worth. He proved that sometimes it is the actions of resilience and success in one's career that are the strongest elements, surpassing any prejudices and gossip. However, his dignity also made his private life a target for curiosity and uncomfortable commentary. Billie Holiday, the legendary voice, and a life shattered by an abusive marriage and drugs. Billie Holiday, one of the greatest female jazz singers in history, is not only known for her soulful voice and timeless songs like Strange Fruit and God Bless the Child, but also as a symbol of personal struggle. Her voice touched the hearts of millions, making her a shining star in the music industry, receiving awards and international recognition. However, beneath her glorious career lay a life filled with pain, complex relationships, and rumors about her love life that kept the public constantly talking. Billie Holiday's private life was no stranger to scandals that stirred public opinion. She became entangled in complicated love affairs, and particularly, her unhappy marriage to an abusive husband led to significant emotional trauma. Her husband, who was a well-known figure in the entertainment industry, turned their marriage into a long chain of helpless days. The constant arguments and abusive actions left her unable to find peace in her own home. The wounds were not just physical bruises, but deep emotional scars that caused her to gradually lose herself. These emotional traumas not only affected her personal life, but began to negatively impact her career, making it difficult for her to focus and continue nurturing her talent. Even more painfully, she not only faced a broken marriage, but also sank into a spiral of addiction. Drugs and alcohol became temporary remedies to numb the pain and the unhealable wounds in her soul. However, this led her into a vicious cycle with no way out, as ongoing mental crises ensued. Despite her efforts to maintain the image of a famous artist, her addiction slowly started to affect her work, and she herself realized that she was losing control. One of the most shocking scandals in her career occurred when she was arrested for drug use at the height of her success. At a time when her image was still a source of pride for millions of fans, and when music producers still clamored for her, the event rocked the entire industry. Police raided her hotel room during a routine check and caught her in the act of using drugs. Being arrested at the peak of her career was an indescribable shock, not only because of the legal consequences, but also due to the collapse of her image in the eyes of the public. The media, television, and her fans could hardly believe that a star like her had fallen into such dark temptations. Criticism and harsh comments about her personal life poured down like a downpour, pushing her further into isolation and despair. Despite enduring such immense personal turmoil, Billie Holiday remains an immortal icon in jazz music. The wounds in her heart and her tragic life seem inseparable from the deeply emotional songs she sang. With each listen, listeners feel the pain she endured. However, this also underscores a harsh reality sometimes. The greatest artists must pay a heavy price for their glory. Paul Robeson, the legendary artist banned from performing for publicly supporting the Soviet Union. Paul Robeson, one of the greatest multi-talented artists in American history, was not only a singer and actor but also a steadfast civil rights activist. Robeson captivated the world with his magnificent voice and remarkable performances, particularly in works like Othello and Show Boat. His career reached its peak with international recognition, and he became one of the greatest symbols of culture and freedom. Moreover, Robeson was a pioneer in advocating for the rights of Black people, challenging both the social and political norms of his time. However, his personal life was not without its share of upheavals and scandals. Paul Robeson became an icon of justice, but it was his strong political views that made his life not only filled with hardships but also the subject of shocking events. Throughout his life, Robeson placed the rights of workers and justice above all else, particularly when he spoke out against racial segregation and supported global revolutionary movements. However, these views put him in the crosshairs of the U.S. government, especially during the Cold War, when any support for the Soviet Union was seen as an act of betrayal. One of the most shocking events in Robeson's life was when he openly supported the Soviet Union and its policies during a famous interview in the 1940s. His statement, in which he praised the Soviet Union for eliminating racial discrimination and helping Black people, immediately made him a target of severe criticism from the U.S. government. These remarks not only led to doubts about his loyalty to the country, but also resulted in strong boycotts from American organizations and companies. He was banned from performing on major stages and was no longer sought after by music, film, or theater producers. This was not only a shock to his career, but also paralyzed Robeson's personal life. During this time, he faced being publicly banned in the US, as well as social isolation when many in the artistic community turned their backs on him. The media relentlessly scrutinized Robeson's personal relationships, especially when he experienced inner conflicts between continuing his political struggle and his commitments to his family, friends, and the artistic community. Rumors about his private life, particularly his relationship with his wife and children, became a frequent topic of media attention. One shocking detail in Robeson's life was his public quarrels with his wife, Eslanda, who had always supported his career but faced significant difficulties as Robeson could not balance his political career with his family life. In particular, he faced a severe psychological crisis when criticism from the public and the U.S. government came flooding in. This tension affected their family relationship, leading to many struggles in their private life. During this time, Robeson also had to confront direct attacks from U.S. security agencies, especially in the hearings of the House Un-American Activities Committee, WAC, where he was required to answer questions about his associations with communist organizations and his statements. These hearings were not only a battle between him and the government, but also a struggle between an idealistic man and a nation that was suspicious, boycotting, and isolating him. Nina Mae McKinney, the brave star who broke racial barriers in Hollywood. Nina Mae McKinney, dubbed the Black Garbo, was one of the first black stars to shine on the big screen. Not only was she recognized for her acting talent, but she also became a symbol of breaking racial barriers when she appeared in Hallelujah. 1929, one of the first Hollywood films with a predominantly black cast. McKinney embodied boldness and talent, delivering emotionally powerful performances that earned the admiration of the public. She was one of the rare black artists who was acknowledged and loved in a film industry that was mostly reserved for white people. However, despite her tremendous success, McKinney's love life was far from peaceful. In a racially segregated America in the mid-20th century, McKinney did not hesitate to choose white men as her partners, which became a highly controversial topic. Though her relationships with these men were a natural part of McKinney's personal life, they were not accepted by society, especially considering she was a famous and strong black woman. The public not only focused on her prominent acting career, but also constantly scrutinized her private life. Her relationships with white men, including powerful figures in the film industry, made her a target for serious criticism. Racists at the time believed that McKinney's open love and marriage to white men violated social norms and went against the values established in America's racially segregated society. One of the most shocking details was her relationship with a white film producer who helped her achieve great success in her career. While this relationship brought McKinney tremendous opportunities, it also sparked endless gossip and controversy from the public. The press continuously ran provocative headlines, criticizing her as a woman who challenged conventions and was unworthy of the fame she had earned. These relationships led McKinney to face isolation from both the black community, who felt betrayed by her romantic choices, and from the broader public, who could not accept that a black woman could love and be loved by white men in an era rife with racial discrimination. The criticism grew louder, not only in the media but also within artistic and cultural communities. Every time she appeared with a white man, discussions about racial ideals flared up, leaving McKinney feeling that she could never truly find peace in her personal life. It is known that McKinney once shared that the criticisms deeply hurt her, making her feel as though she was always facing judgment and condemnation from all sides, no matter how successful she was in her career. Although she was not a star involved in major scandals, Nina Mae McKinney's romantic relationships still aroused curiosity and harsh judgment from society at the time. A criticized love affair, Sammy Davis Jr. and Kim Novak, a relationship that overcame racial boundaries with challenges. Sammy Davis Jr. was one of Hollywood's most versatile stars, famous not only as a singer and actor but also as an outstanding dancer. As a member of the Rat Pack alongside Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin, Davis Jr. captivated the public with his extraordinary talent and unique charm. With his exceptional performances and significant contributions to music and film, he left an indelible mark on Hollywood history, becoming a timeless cultural icon. However, alongside his brilliant career, Sammy Davis Jr.'s romantic life was riddled with controversy. One of the most talked about relationships was his affair with Kim Novak, a famous white star. The romance between Sammy Davis Jr. and Kim Novak was one of the most shocking and painful love stories in Hollywood's history. At a time when racial issues were still a sensitive and prejudiced topic, Davis Jr.'s relationship with Novak, a famous white actress, was unacceptable to both the public and the media. The social barriers of the time, where black people still faced severe discrimination and prejudice, made this relationship a stain in the eyes of many. On stage, Davis Jr. was always known as a talented and outstanding artist, but this love affair put him in an awkward situation. Although the love between Davis Jr. and Novak was sincere, constant criticism emerged from the public, as they could not accept a black man loving a white woman. The public not only expressed displeasure over this crossing of racial boundaries, but also believed Davis Jr. had betrayed his own black community. Protests and criticism piled up against him, turning his private life into a constant topic of discussion. The rumors about their relationship not only rocked his personal life, but also had a significant impact on his career. Furthermore, the media relentlessly exploited and criticized this relationship. Newspapers, particularly those with racist leanings, constantly reported on the affair, exaggerating and distorting details of Davis Jr.'s personal life to create shocking headlines. Rumors about Davis Jr. betraying the black community and the unacceptable crossing of racial boundaries stirred up waves of hatred from both sides, white people and black people. While some in the black community criticized him for not upholding the image of a black person in the public eye, some white people viewed this relationship as an intrusion into the social norms of the time. This romance not only tested Davis Jr.'s private life, but also damaged his career opportunities during that period. Some producers, directors, and colleagues in the entertainment industry began to distance themselves from him, no longer inviting him to collaborate, fearing that association with him would affect their reputations in the public's eye. Being isolated in the entertainment industry caused Davis Jr. to face a major career crisis, realizing that personal choices could harm the career he had worked so hard to build. Hazel Scott and the inner conflict between love and racial pressures. Hazel Scott, one of Hollywood's musical geniuses in the 1940s, not only impressed with her extraordinary musical talent, but also shone as a promising film star, with her role in Rhapsody in Blue 1945. Scott was a symbol of elegance and talent, known for her virtuoso piano playing and refined acting style. She was also the first black female artist invited to perform at a famous luxury club in Hollywood, establishing her place in an industry rife with racial discrimination. However, alongside her brilliant success, Scott's private life often caused public uproar. One of the things that drew harsh criticism was her marriages and personal relationships that did not conform to the societal norms of the time. At that time, relationships between black and white people were still seen as a violation, often viewed with disgust and even condemned. Her first relationship with a well-known white man in the industry sparked a storm of criticism from both the public and the media. While she found personal freedom and happiness in these relationships, society could not accept them. For many, this was seen as a deviation from the societal and cultural values of the time, making her a target of fierce criticism from both the black and white communities. Rumors about her being bent to fit white societal norms, or doubts about her loyalty to her own community, put her in a tense internal battle between love and societal pressure. Butterfly McQueen, the actress who chose to live differently, criticized for rejecting societal marriage norms. Butterfly McQueen, famed for her role in Gone with the Wind 1939, was not just a Hollywood icon but also a woman who defied societal norms. She rejected traditional expectations, engaging in unconventional relationships that challenged racial and gender boundaries, which made her a target for public criticism. A particularly controversial moment was her involvement with a married man, leading to harsh media backlash. McQueen's refusal to conform to marriage norms and her ever-changing relationships led many to label her as unstable. Despite the criticism, she remained a bold, independent woman who lived authentically, refusing to be confined by Hollywood standards. The Rebellion of Louise Beavers, the controversial love story that crossed racial boundaries. Louise Beavers, a pioneering black actress in 1930s Hollywood, gained fame for her role in Imitation of Life 1934, challenging racial portrayals on screen. However, her personal life sparked controversy, particularly her marriage to a white man, which defied racial norms and drew criticism from both the black community and conservative whites. The media harshly scrutinized her relationships, accusing her of assimilation and distancing her from civil rights efforts. Despite the backlash affecting her career and reputation, Beavers remained a symbol of resilience, standing against societal prejudice and choosing to live on her own terms. Ethel Waters, a trailblazing artist who achieved success beyond her time but faced broken relationships. Ethel Waters, a trailblazing artist in film and music, broke racial barriers with roles in Pinky 1949 and Cabin in the Sky 1943. However, her personal life was marked by turmoil. Her 1930 marriage to a younger man ended quickly, drawing public scrutiny and criticism. Waters' later relationships, often defying societal norms, further fueled controversy, especially as a black woman in a racially divided era. Despite facing backlash, she remained resilient, ensuring her personal struggles never overshadowed her artistic legacy. Waters stood as a testament to strength, authenticity, and perseverance in the face of adversity. Fredi Washington against racism, but what did her love cost her? Fredi Washington, celebrated for her role in Imitation of Life 1934, was not only a talented actress but also a bold advocate against racism. As a black star in segregated Hollywood, she faced immense challenges, particularly after marrying a white man, a controversial decision that drew criticism from both white society and the black community. Accused of betraying her roots, she struggled to balance love and identity in a prejudiced world. Despite the backlash, Washington remained steadfast, using her platform to challenge racial barriers and pave the way for future black actors in the industry. The black stars of Hollywood's golden age were not just legends on screen, but also symbols of struggle and resilience in a world filled with discrimination. Their personal stories, whether seen as scandals or controversial relationships, cannot overshadow the greatness of their careers and their contributions to the film industry and the community. Whether admired or criticized, each figure left an indelible mark on Hollywood's history. What they experienced is not just a tale of the light and darkness of the entertainment industry, but also a fight to prove their worth, overcoming all barriers.